Howdy-do, Chimachuma. This is Chief Steve coming at y'all with another episode of True Story. We got a really interesting one for you guys today, but before we get into it, make sure you guys like and hype this video up, comment in the comment section, get really interactive, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and don't forget to hit that notification bell as well. So whenever I drop these bombs, you'll be the first ones to grab them. Now, without further ado, let's get into it.
First and foremost, the one thing that I would ask for people to do at this moment is pray for the Anthony family, because they have been legally lynched for the last year, and more so by this slaughterhouse of a courthouse as well as the family of the Metcalfs. So the energy right now is very white supremacy. They have shown up to be the pigs that they display with hate. They are celebrating the loss of life and the loss of freedom. So that's the energy. We have a devastated family who didn't know that they was going to have to let their son go back into a holdover because we have an overzealous prosecutor who lied throughout this trial, who put on liars as witnesses in order to be a saving grace for the white community so that they can win an election. That's what it feels like right now.
We already see the prosecutor made clear that he wants it to be a long sentencing.
What I heard from this man today is indicative of why it's important that it's people that look like us that are in courtrooms like that. This man disregarded human life the entire trial. He invoked race. He equated Dallas County as being the ghetto, opposed to Frisco being safe. They propagandaed a photo of the deceased with black people around praying, saying this is community. They used us as a prop in order to pitch their lynching. This man has been known to be an overzealous prosecutor when it comes to us. He see us as what was the statement that free labor. That's what he see us as. So I'm not surprised that this prosecutor, who has unethical background, would get up there and ask for the max when he know that this was self-defense.
And based on Mr. Gathwright's age, physical abilities, things like that, do you think that the prison would benefit from him in a work capacity if he were sentenced to life without parole?
I say yes, with my experience, not only just in classification, but as former warden and even as a jail administrator. He's someone that's young, he's healthy. In reality, we need that labor, we need that sweat equity, and we will put him out there to work because we do have an aging prison population, jail administration, we have that. So we put these young individuals to work and get some sweat equity out of them since they are young and actually can do the work.
Go into an environment of very hard labor.
Let's go.
Today, y'all first day in the plant. I'm going to show you what you ought to do, what's expected of you while you're in the plant. First of all, I want all you knucklebells to come in and pay attention. This hard piece of cartilage or gristle at the end of the bone, that has to be cut out of the chicken before you place it into your lug. Okay? You check it up, down, side to side, top to bottom.
It's important that rules be strong, and it's important that they be fair. If you don't abide by those rules, they get written up for a rule violation.
The first couple of lugs I've checked already had cartilage and bone in it.
The job they got me doing, they got me checking chicken, right? And I checked to see if it got bone, knuckles, or cartilage in it. If I did, that's an automatic write-up. You get rolled up on that, they trying to snatch a good time.
Check the chicken clean, make sure there's no knuckle bones or cartilage in it. I can't stress that enough.
When they break the rules, they can be minor or privileges taken away from them, their canteen, their recreational activities, and it can be as major as taking good time away from them. As much as 180 days of good time for one major offense, and that means spending more time in prison.
Some of them don't want to cut chicken, some don't want to check chicken. You have some that are...
They don't want you to see the slave labor that's going on inside. It doesn't matter if the job is dangerous. It doesn't matter if you're sick. You can be written a disciplinary for refusing to work and placed in solitary confinement. And it's not just prison jobs. A lot of prisoners are being leased out to corporations or to do state work.
I work in Department of Sanitation every day in the communities, and I only get paid $2 a day. Downtown Montgomery, they have inmates working there. Even the governor mansion where KI been.
We're being told you're gonna work for us for free until you die. If they insist on running an unconstitutional prison, and they can run it themselves.
Well, a lot of people are calling it modern slavery. Does that feel right?
I was just about to say, that's slavery. That's slavery. You took away the whips, but you put the paperwork. Took away the masters and you put them in uniform. Same difference, same difference.
It kind of appears that there is a coordinated system in order to protect the labor that's created by the prison system.
Walk into a McDonald's in Alabama, and the worker flipping your McDouble could be an incarcerated person.
It's a sad situation, a way they getting rich off us.
The Alabama Department of Corrections farms out incarcerated people to work at hundreds of private companies and government agencies across the state.
McDonald's, Burger King, Golden Corral, Wendy's. They got a Wendy's contract right now. State Trooper's office.
They'll send everybody everywhere.
They'll send you everywhere. Yes, the parole office.
And even though ADOC trusts these incarcerated people to leave prison every day and work alongside the general public, many of them are still denied the chance at real freedom.
I work for y'all, but when I come up for parole, you deny me. Why would you deny me? Because I got free, because you're getting free service.
This is
because I know my son. My son is no murder. My son didn't intend to hurt anyone. My son was defending himself, and that's what hurt so bad.
God would tell us all.
Yeah.
We don't know when, but yeah, it's
just been praying and keeping the faith.
Hey, for the ones out there that's talking about Lil Karmelo gonna be somebody bitch when he get to prison, man, what the fuck y'all on? Y'all gotta be tripping, man. Y'all think the blacks ain't riding with Lil Homie? Lil Homie gonna be straight in there. I don't give a fuck where he go. They can sit in the Arkansas prison right now and the blacks gonna ride with him. Because everybody been watching this shit is high profile and we know the bullshit behind it. So if nobody else is safe in the penitentiary, he is. And I'm gonna tell you like this, and I'm gonna keep it real. I know y'all don't wanna hear this, but white boys ain't no motherfucking pressure in the penitentiary, man. Not in the South, they ain't. Now, I don't know what they doing in Canada, in Montana, and South Dakota, and all that bullshit. Maybe even LA, I know everything's segregated. But in the South, I did 6 years in that motherfucker. And there ain't never been no pressure. Now, I ain't gonna lie, like some of them don't get down for their crown and to move some. But when you talking about blacks against rights, on a race war type shit, man, it's over with. They don't want them type of problem. They don't want them type of problem. Because them NIGGAs gonna act a motherfucking fool, and y'all know it. Y'all don't want to face the fact, but y'all know it. So now, Lil Buddy good, man. Quit putting that bullshit out there. Ain't nobody gonna fuck with Lil Buddy. Lil Buddy gonna be straight. I guarantee that. I'll put some money on that.
Karmelo Anthony ain't been out of court no more than 24 to 36 hours, and they done sent this baby to TDC already. He is in the Texas Correction Department of Justice, Texas Department of Correction and Justice, already in less than 36 hours. This ain't just a public lynching. This is just a view of our system. I've been in prison in TDC. Man, it take you months to get on the chain and actually go to prison to do diagnostics. How the hell do you walk out of court and you already in fucking prison at the age of 18 with a 35-year sentence? Shh.
Well, gosh, Jolly G, I think I got it. Went to a public place, brought a pew-pew, unalived 2 people, injured 6. But because he has the complexion for protection, mental health. Went to a public place, had something in his book bag in case he needed to defend himself, like millions of Americans do. Had hands laid on him and his property snatched and broken. Understand your grounds, you don't have to retreat. And you can use force. But just like the mid-1800s to 1950, because of his complexion, he's guilty. A thug. Do I have it right? Let me know.
Judge Joe Brown came out with a statement regarding his thoughts on the Karmelo Anthony case, and to all those white supremacists that jumped in my live and said I was a terrible law student because I was one of the first creators to tell y'all that Karmelo Anthony was actually robbed under the Texas Penal Code 29.02. But since you won't listen to me, let's see if you listen to an official judge.
And they try to take it again from him. That's a robbery. In other words, the taking of the property of another by use of force or violence. He resisted the robbery, which is a felony, and that would morph the whole thing to killing into a felony murder situation. If you have a felony murder thing, the people who implemented the underlying felony become responsible for the consequences. For instance, if there is a proprietor, a manager, or an employee in a liquor store, and some people come in to hold up the liquor store, and there's a shootout, and one of the bullets fired by the proprietor, the manager, or an employee miscarries and kills an innocent person on the sidewalk. Well, under the felony murder thing, the employee, manager, or whatever is not charged with the homicide. The people who are charged with the homicide are the ones that started the robbery. So in this case, you have a party that starts a robbery. 2, allegedly, you have a killing that results by the would-be victim of the robbery. So what happens is, under the felony murder theory, the person that's charged with the homicide and the robbery is the survivor. In this case, one of the would-be, should-be co-defendants to the robbery, if that's the way the case is cast. The whole thing about the $1 million bond is absolutely ridiculous, because under the 5th Amendment, bonds shall be reasonable, and reasonable has been interpreted for the last 230 years by the U.S. Supreme Court and most appellate courts as meaning simply enough to ensure that a person shows up until the charges are disposed of. No.
Let's talk about how Hunter nor Austin ran track for Frisco ISD. And why y'all trying to say it was Karmelo that was suspended? No, it was them 2 white boys that was suspended. They were actually attending alternative school. Let's talk about whenever Jeff Metcalf used to beat up their mama, and so they whooped his ass. Let's talk about how both of them were trained in jiu-jitsu. How convenient the media leaves that out. Of course, the mainstream media is going to leave out how they were known bullies. Mind you, the same people that y'all love trying to bring up that testified in favor of Austin, those are the same people who also testified that they were intimidated by them boys. They were scared of them, so they decided to be their friends instead. That's probably why they lying on the stand now. They probably scared Hunter gonna tear their ass up.
You seen the video with your own 2 eyes. Was it clear enough, or was it fuzzy, or what?
No, it was clear. It was okay. It's clear enough to where you can see the actual individual raindrops come by the cameras.
Okay.
That's how clear it is. You actually see them walking up. You see that Karmelo is already up under there. He's under there minding his business.
Dodging the rain, or?
Yeah, it was still raining. You know,
right.
I'm from Little So that day we were under a tornado watch.
Right.
And we were under thunderstorm warning, and we know we had already had some light rain then, and it started raining again. Then it was over with for the day. Okay. So that's kind of what happened on that day. But they were at a rain delay already. And so during that time when that happened, the twins, their 2 buddies, and a few other kids, because there was a few kids involved with them, they were all coming from the direction of the middle school, coming walking back up.
Right.
On the video, you can see those 4 that actually was involved, and maybe about 3 or 4 others that was with them, skipping up, trying to catch up behind. One veered off probably toward his way to go to the coach and kind of distract him a little bit. And then the other 4 came walking together. One went in front of them, went past.
Right.
The other 4 went and they surrounded Carmelo. You know, if you're Carmelo,
And they showed that on that video.
it's on the video.
Okay, come on.
You can see him walk.
I'm gonna
up.
say little
And
stuff.
I'll put
while
it
you
this
talking.
way.
Okay.
They actually tell you when you're watching the video, pay attention to this corner right here, because if you look anywhere else, you might miss different things.
Okay.
So watch those 4. Here they're 4 right there coming up.
Right.
That's exactly what they say.
Okay.
And so you have no way to be confused that it's those 4.
Okay.
So they come up, they surround them, and this immediate moment of not even a few seconds of pause, then that's when they jump. And so
So
it
they
was,
actually did jump him.
yeah, it wasn't just no touch. It wasn't just all that moment. Yeah, it was a push. It was all kind of things. But Austin pushed, Hunter hit, and then everybody swung. But at the same time,
So it's more
Carmelo,
than so it's more than the twins that got some licks
all
on
4.
them. So it showed that in the video.
Yes, in the video. So again, you have Hunter and Austin standing in the middle,
Okay.
and you have the light bright boy here, and you have the darker boy here.
Okay.
I think that's what I remember. So I have to go back and think about it. But that's where they were. One was going up and down while they were talking, and kind of pushing or whatever he was doing. Austin and Hunter was in front. So where they're talking about grabbing bags, Hunter actually said that I grabbed his bag.
Right.
And then later on, he said that Austin threw the bag.
Okay.
Jeff also said the same thing. And so that's them both antagonizing. And we know under Texas law, I just have the fear that you're about to do something to me and you can get up out of here. Yeah, so you don't have to touch me. But at that point, he still stood there and stopped there. And whatever they say alleged was said, you don't know that until they get into it here. But once they did that, they started hitting him. Carmelo actually was able to back out and try to get away. So he was actually trying to get away the first time. Austin grabbed him, and you can see his hoodie coming out like this, and they brought him back in.
Okay.
And when they brought him back in, that's when you can see Austin put him in a headlock. You can see that all the rest of them are still hitting. That must be when the poke happened, because he was able to get out again. He backed out. He looked to the right. That's where the other little kid was filming, because they got some cell phone footage too. But that's where he was filming. He looked directly at him in his camera, and then he went this way to the left. He went down. He fell. And that's when they realized he was gone, but they were still punching. And when he fell, that's when they all turned around. They started chasing him. Austin tried to go chase him too, but he grabbed his chest. I guess he realized that something happened to him. And that's when he went down a little bit and he fell down. But all 3 of them were chasing. But Carmelo was so fast, he got away and went around to the coach. And so you can see them on the video pointing toward Carmelo and the coach. And I can imagine, because Carmelo's out of the camera on that moment, that he was telling the coach what happened. And then that's when Hunter said he whipped his head around. That's a true statement. He just wasn't sitting when he did it. He whipped his head around. You see him on the video. And that's when he walked over to where Austin was, but he never touched him. So all that stuff about him rendering aid and holding his heart, he never did that, because the coach grabbed him and he was holding him. So at the end of the day, that's kind of where the moment went. But they did assault him, and we'll just play the game. Even if it was just a push, you still assaulted him, because it was unwanted. By your own definition and your word of him saying that leave me alone and I'm not going, you assaulted him, period. But they did beat him. And if you look at the not the photo that Fox 4 put out, because that was one that they actually edited, I have the emails to prove it, but the actual Collin County one, you can see the webs and stuff on his eye. You can see the bridge of his nose is swollen. You can see the webs under his neck. And so that's the reason why they edited the one from Fox and kind of airbrushed it, and you can see they put the locks of his hair that got taken out as well.
It looks like Jeff Metcalf had something to get off his chest, and he took it right to Carmelo's dad's Facebook to do so. So just recently, Carmelo's dad, Drew Anthony, shared a family photo, this picture right here. And in the comments, Jeff Metcalf took it upon himself to write this. He said, "You raised a unaliver. Guess you're one proud parent." Drew Anthony responds, "Self-defense is not unaliving. Stop coming to my place of employment and tell your team to stop harassing me and my family, and you know the truth. You will see in court. God bless you. Self-defense is not unaliving." Now, no one can tell no one how to grieve, especially if you have not been in this situation, so I would not do that. I am sure that Jeff is hurting bad, and he's just probably going off the rocker, which any parent probably would. But some stuff is just better to take it up in court. It's safer to take it up in court. It keeps the drama down surrounding the case. This is just crazy. And you already know that in the past, I posted this video where Jeff Metcalf popped up at the Anthony's press conference, and then Dominique Alexander had this to say.
If that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who is not invited, he knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family, but he did it. And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words.
And weeks after that, he also had a long Facebook rant argument with Dominique Alexander on his page. So it's clear that Jeffrey is lashing out with grief, which is understandable, but the Anthonys might need to get a restraining order on him just until the trial. If he's popping up at their place of employment and anything like that, that's kind of dangerous. I feel like Karmelo is already charged and indicted with the unaliving of Austin. There's nothing more that his parents can do. He is being held accountable for his actions, and he is allowed to have his fair day in court. Looks like Jeff Metcalf had something to get.
Oh my God, look, Karmelo's a little baby, he's innocent. No, he's fucking guilty. He's going to prison! Yay! No matter how you feel, no matter where you stand, to get charged, sentenced, and found guilty on the same day, don't nobody find that crazy but me. Think about this. When in human history has a white boy ever had an all-black jury the opposite way? When in human history have you been sentenced, tried, and given 35 years in the same day? And what's even crazier is that people are cheering like anybody wanting this. A young man's life is gone forever. A young man's life is ruined forever. It's a tragedy. Both of these were young men, and I wish none of this could have went that way. But 35 years on a first-time offense? It's crazy. And the people thinking it's justice, nah, it's modern day lynching. That's what it is, y'all. I mean, Dallas, Fort Worth County, Frisco area, that's all we got to say, man. Just seeing that news and seeing this happen in real time is nobody won. Seriously. No matter how.
It's crazy to me how everyone in Texas is all about stand your ground and self-defense until that person doesn't look like me. This case is racially charged, and stick with me here. If the roles were reversed, if Karmelo Anthony was 220 pounds with his twin brother, picking on a white kid, putting hands on a white kid, and he got unalived, y'all would say that he got exactly what was coming to him, and if he would have kept his hands to himself, he would still be here today. You can't tell me that race isn't a thing because it's in my TikTok comments, and I've seen hundreds of comments on Facebook. So if you flip this scenario and Karmelo Anthony was the aggressor in this situation and your opinion changed, you are racially biased. And to the white people in my comments calling me a white savior, God forbid I have empathy. If you're RICS, just say that and move on. In my last video, I said I didn't know why Karmelo Anthony was sitting under that tent. Turns out it started raining, and Karmelo got permission from the coach. That's not even his school. He got permission from a coach to sit under that tent. Granted, it's free seating, but he got specific permission. And don't get me wrong, it's absolutely tragic that Austin lost his life. His parents lost their son. No parent should have to ever lose their kid. But it makes me think, what would have happened if Austin and Hunter would have left Karmelo alone and not talked to him? Not approached him, not instigated a situation and then escalated it by putting hands on him. Because y'all want to say, oh, it's not self-defense. Austin and his brother are 220-pound football players, and Karmelo was 130 pounds. If you can't visualize that, I'm 180. I got 50 pounds on the kid. Not only were they both in his face, but one of them put hands on him. He was scared. I feel like Austin and Hunter were looking for trouble because if they were really so aggravated by this kid sitting there for whatever reason, they would have gotten an adult to remove him. They wouldn't have approached him, talked shit, and put hands on him. I'll probably get crucified for this, but I don't care. What's right is right, what's wrong is
What if Karmelo Anthony was white and two twin young black men, each of them twice his size, tried to make him get up from somewhere he was invited to be? People from their community are starting to speak out about the Metcalf family.
I'm not going to deal with Jeff Metcalf and him and his family bullied us out of our seat. That's how this trial came to be, is because his kids are bullies and want to bully people out of their seat. So where do you think his kids learn to be bullies at? According to their environment. That's all I'm going to say.
Somebody in the Collin County's prosecution's office edited Karmelo Anthony's mugshot to cover up the fact that he was assaulted. This is when Karmelo Anthony was arrested at the track meet. His nose is swollen and his right eye is a little swollen. And most notable, on the same side where his right eye is a little swollen, you can also see a patch of his locks missing. Now here's the Collin County mugshot once he was booked the exact same day. They edited the picture and made him a little darker. You can clearly see they edited the picture. They took down the swelling on his nose and eye, and they edited his hair. The part where that patch is missing is now filled in. This was a dirty cover-up trial in a racist conservative county in Texas. They railroaded Karmelo Anthony. The prosecution lied about Anthony not being welcome. Karmelo was invited to sit at the tent by his track teammate, Eddie Para. See, they ain't tell y'all that Karmelo was invited by his track teammate to sit under the tent to get out of the rain, which is why Karmelo didn't leave, because he was trying to get out the rain like all the other kids, and he was invited to sit there. Austin Metcalf's twin brother initially said he was the one that got into a confrontation with Karmelo Anthony.
And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack.
Did you hear that? He said my brother stepped in and told him to move. And then Austin grabbed Karmelo's backpack. You know this case was crooked because Hunter was the main witness. But because Hunter told the truth that wouldn't fit the prosecution's false narrative, they didn't even call him to the stand to testify, and he was the main witness. That's how you know something was off. This trial was straight bullshit. Just the fact that it was an older, all-white jury, that should tell you everything you need to know. But what I want to know is, how can Rick Child gun down a 14-year-old child and still get off on self-defense? But Karmelo was minding his business in a place where he was invited. He was bullied and harassed by two young men twice his size who were threatening to physically harm Karmelo if he didn't leave from a place where he was invited. Texas is a stand-your-ground state. If you believe two or more individuals are looking to do you harm, self-defense is legal. Which is the reason why the prosecution didn't call Hunter to the stand, because that would have proved that they both were coming at Karmelo, and Karmelo would have gotten off on self-defense. So the prosecution decided to lie and create a false narrative for that older all-white jury. Karmelo Anthony's teammate, Eddie Para, you know, the one who invited him to come sit down, he recorded the whole thing, but the police confiscated their phones.
Okay, so y'all want to paint the picture that Karmelo Anthony is guilty and he gets 35 years, but Rick Child is still running around free. He's still running around friggin' free, but they lied to us. There was no black people on the jury. And somebody said that judge was friends with the Metcalf family. This is a horror story. I swear, I'm starting to believe that there is a black community within the black community, because there are so many black creators coming on here talking about, oh, Karmelo Anthony is guilty. He's guilty. And it's not about race, I promise. Karmelo, they failed you. And I say they because I'm not they. I believe he's innocent. I watched all of the videos. I seen everything. He's still innocent. And you can say I'm in denial or whatever, but that baby is innocent. All I could think about is that baby taking off his suit and having to go sleep now in a little cold bunker, when all he tried to do was defend himself. Y'all wouldn't have found out that he was carrying a knife if y'all wasn't trying to jump him. I don't care. I stand behind him 100%. My condolences to the Metcalf family, but yeah.
This case was over in jury selection, as most cases are. When you don't have any black jurors, and mind you, you had people of color but no black jurors in this jury, that was over. This kid was not going to get a fair trial. One of the things, I've been doing this for 43 years, jury selection determines everything in a criminal case, number one. Number two, the reason the jury selection informs every case in every community, in every courtroom, is because you are the product of your upbringing, by the way you view things. And you're never going to convince, I don't care what kind of an orator you are, how persuasive you are, you're not going to be able to impart your lived experience onto 12 people and somehow get them to understand a 17-year-old black kid who's sitting there with two people who are hulking over him and who's shoved first, and what degree of force he's supposed to use. A black juror may have understood that in a way that a white juror won't. I know that's incendiary. I know that drives some people insane. But I invite any person, I invite anybody who's ever watched a criminal courtroom work to take a look and see what happens. And race informs everything.
So after Karmelo Anthony was found guilty, this is his father's reaction.
It showed very clearly that a black boy was allowed, not one black soul on a jury. An all white jury convicted him in 2 to 3 hours. We know that they did not prove their case. They are currently sentencing Karmelo Anthony, but we know that the Next Generation Action Network put the first $10,000 towards an appellate attorney. And we will fight Collin County like hell. I respected this process. I allowed and called for peace in this process. But Black America should be very upset about what went on today. Now, before all of the internet lawyers and before all of the interpretation of the situation, I'm only an advocacy leader. I'm not an attorney. I can only help families be able to navigate these processes when they find themselves in this type of situation. I can only allow lawyers to be what they are, lawyers. I can't instruct them. I can't stop them from doing anything. I have to respect the process just like anybody else. But what we saw today was flawed, unjust, and I ask that the community continue to pray for the Anthony family. I do not speak for them, but I know that the Next Generation Action Network will be here as support. My heart hurts right now because an ignorance of the law was done here today. Clear. We posted the jury instructions. And right now, what we are seeing is a travesty. It lets us that Black lives do not matter in the criminal justice system. It lets us know that we are not going to be afforded the same laws as anybody else. And I give a damn about nobody that feels like I'm playing the race card here. For 400 years, our people have been at the liberty and have had to suffer at the liberty of these laws. I'm speaking facts because the blood of slavery is in my blood, not your blood. And it's not for you to look at me and say, I'm playing the race card. I'm just a black man living in America. The fact supports that. You say I'm upset? Hell yeah, I'm upset. I respected this process. But we're going to fight like hell to make sure that Collin County know that Karmelo Anthony is not going to go away. I want to thank all of the people who traveled across this country, to all of the media's community supporters and people who have taken Karmelo Anthony as their own baby. I salute you. I thank you. And we got work to do. Thank you.
Now, in my opinion, I thought it was self-defense. However, maybe they have videos of something that we didn't see. That's not on the report videos. I hope they can release the video publicly eventually soon so we can see it. You know what actually happened? What did it take place? You know what I mean? So we'll see if they do. But let me know what y'all think.
Secret Service Sam here with another update on the Karmelo Anthony Austin Metcalf case. Now, as you know, I just previously reported that Karmelo was taken to the Bird Unit in Huntsville, Texas, and that the warden happens to share the same last name. His name was Talon Metcalf. We don't know if they're related, but it seems fishy. But I just talked to Morris Twain Turner. He gave me the update that they have switched Karmelo to a different prison unit because Bird Unit was apparently not going to be safe for him at all, obviously. New prison is the Wallace Pack Unit. The new warden is Garrett Simmons, and it is in Navasota, Texas. So this is good news because allegedly we don't know if Talon Metcalf is related to Jeff Metcalf, but we cannot trust any of it. Like Public Enemy said, don't trust it. So this is good news for Karmelo. He will be in a safer prison. That's kind of an oxymoron, I know to say, but it seems like at the Bird Unit, he was going to be set up for a lot of trouble. I will keep you updated. This thing is updating by the hour. Secret Service Sam out, Samson for president.
Karmelo Anthony may be in some serious danger. The warden at the prison that he has been transferred to, last name is Metcalf. Now, shout out to Secret Service Sam. He's a big creator here. He comes here with a lot of facts and information. He did his research and found out that the prison that Karmelo had been transferred to, where he is now in Huntsville, Texas, I believe, the warden's last name is Metcalf. Now, we are praying that that last name does not mean that he has any blood relation to the Metcalf family, because we know if he does and if he is related to the Metcalf family, y'all, Karmelo may be in danger. And I am not posting this to fearmonger nobody. It's just to shed light on what the fuck they are doing to our people. To not only have factual proof that the judge, the district attorney, has been in cahoots with the Metcalf family long before this, but to now know that the warden where this baby has been imprisoned may be a blood relation to the Metcalf family, y'all. my sincerest prayers. I see a lot of people are working very hard to see about getting an appeal. And just letting him get the fair due process. For all of the people that's saying, oh, well, he unalived somebody, he needs to be tried fairly. Just like if one of y'all would have took the life of him, y'all would have wanted to be tried fairly, but y'all know y'all would have got off on it. Just like many others always do when they unaliving somebody black. But when it's white, it's this, and like, stop it. That baby may be in serious fucking danger.
35 years. 35 years in prison is what they sentenced him to. He was 17 when he committed this crime. That's twice as long as he's been alive. That's what they gave him, 35 years. Now, it's sad, it's tragic all the way around, right? A child lost their life. Another child's life is altered forever now. Even without the sentence, the fact that he took somebody's life and he has to live with that trauma and that regret and just on his conscience forever and ever. But this is a reminder. Let this act as a reminder for every person of color. Systemic racism exists and it's real and it works perfectly as it's intended. And that's what this is. This is a form of systemic racism. Let's call a spade, because that's not a fair sentencing. Even if we say it's a fair verdict, which I don't think it is, based off of the evidence that was delivered, based off the information, based off people. I live in Frisco, so based off the people that I've spoken to coaches up at the high school that actually know both boys. This was completely unfair. In my opinion, I feel like the jury should have came back with a lesser charge. Manslaughter, some form of manslaughter, involuntary. Because clearly he didn't intend to murder this person. Nothing leading up to or anything after screams murder. Intentional murder. But again, back to the systemic racism. We live in a system where this is coming on the heels of Rick Child being found not guilty after chasing a boy down, a 14-year-old boy, a grown man chasing a 14-year-old boy down for 130 yards and gunning him down. And he was found not guilty of murder. Free to go. Just walking all out the courtroom. And I know what you're probably saying. You're like, oh, that's South Carolina. That's a different state. That's not Texas. This is Texas. We have different laws, different statutes, blah, 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 blah. So for that, I point to Casey Allison. I don't know if you guys know, Belton High School, sometime around the same time of year, 2022. He got into a fight in the bathroom with Jose Ramirez, I believe was the last name. Stabbed him multiple times in the bathroom fight. And he died. You know what they sentenced him to? 10 years. And that was the maximum sentence he could receive. They gave him 10 years. And that was in Texas. So again, the systemic racism exists. And you do have to place yourself in situations where it can be applicable to you. So this is a warning. Stay out of situations that aren't going to favor you, because we're not getting any favors. We're not getting any empathy. We're not getting any breaks. We're not getting any handouts. It's just not happening. If you fuck up, they putting belt to ass. Why do you think these cops keep getting away with killing minorities? Well, it's been going on for you. Why? Because it's the system. Are there individual racists? Yes, of course. But that typically doesn't have as much bearing. It doesn't have much of an impact as systemic racism.
You guys keep saying that this is not a black and white thing. This is not a race thing, when it clearly is. Look at you guys' response. Very much racist. Very much white supremacy. Like very much white privilege. Very much. And then I seen one lady in my comment section say, this is about right and wrong. So if Austin knew about right and wrong, we wouldn't even be sitting here discussing this tragic situation that happened with two twin boys that was 84 pounds bigger than Karmelo Anthony, walked up on him trying to attack him. He did nothing but defend himself. And now he's sentenced to 35 years when we have YT shooters going into schools don't even get 35 years. This is sickening. Very injustice. Of course, everybody is outraged and in an uproar about this young boy literally getting sentenced to 35 years when he did not cause this incident. Austin Metcalf and Hunter Metcalf did. If they would have never went over there bothering that boy, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. The fact that his own defense attorney was against him, and he was not judged by a jury of his peers. This is very much sickening, very much injustice. And you people talking about it's not a race thing. If Austin Metcalf did exactly what Karmelo Anthony did, he will be walking free. Charges will be dismissed. Let's talk about it. Since you guys are You want to have a conversation about it, let's be real. And where was all the people on the, the front line that could have fought even harder to prove this boy innocent? We had witnesses recanting their statements. We had people on the stand lying under oath. But y'all say that was a fair trial? Come again.
Collin County, Dallas, Texas, Arlington, Grand Prairie, Irvin, Dalworth, Plano, Denton, Keller. It ain't safe for none of you white folks to come out this weekend. I'm giving y'all a fair warning right now. And guess what? It's gonna be a bunch of niggas outside that look like me. And we ain't out there with no pocket knives. We out there with these. I guarantee y'all gonna pay for what that judge just did to Karmelo. If you don't believe me, bring y'all bold ass out this weekend and put on your Austin Metcalf shirts and see what happened to you.
Hey y'all, if y'all liking what y'all see, do me a favor, continue to be a star, hit that like button, hype it up too if you have the option. Let the algorithm know that we mean business here in 2026.
Also, don't forget to look for Chief Steve on Facebook and Instagram. Chief Steve on Facebook, chiefsteve.yt on Instagram.
This case is bigger than one courtroom. It's bigger than one verdict. It is bigger than one young man. What happened to Karmelo Anthony has forced a lot of us to look at the system again and say, something about this does not feel right. And the reason it doesn't feel right is because it ain't right. And many of us, we see right through it. When a young man says he feared for himself, when self-defense is placed on the table, when there are questions about fairness, representation, and whether he truly had a jury of his peers, we have every right to ask questions. We have every right to pay attention. We have every right to say this deserves to be challenged, reviewed, appealed, and examined from every angle. But hear me clearly. This is not the time to lose control. This is not the time to give these people the reaction they are waiting for. This is not the time to let anybody bait us into chaos, violence, or emotional destruction. Because every time we move without a strategy, somebody else benefits from our pain. And you know it. We've seen this game before. We have watched our grief get used. We have watched our movements get hijacked. We have watched our righteous anger get redirected until the original issue gets buried and our people get left behind again and again and again. So this time, we move different. We move with discipline. We move with knowledge. We move with law. We move with economic power. We move with community protection. We move with silence when silence is needed. And we speak with power when it is time to speak. Our people must learn the law. Our people must know the court system. Our people must understand and overstand jury duty, appeals, legal defense, public pressure, media narratives, and how all these systems have operated against us for generations. Because what happened here is not just about Karmelo. It's about every young brother and sister who has been treated like his life, his or her life was disposable. It is about every family that has had to watch the system swallow up their child. It is about every person who has been denied fairness and then told to accept it quietly. We are the copper-colored Aborigines. We are the American Indians. We are the people whose labor, culture, blood, and brilliance helped build this land. And now it is time for us to walk in that truth with our heads held high and our eyes wide open. My condolences to everyone touched by this tragedy. But my heart is with the Anthony family as they face the loss of their son's youth, his freedom, and the years that can never be replaced. This is not over. Best believe. Appeals are happening. People are organizing. People are watching. And the best thing we can do right now is stay focused, stay conscious, stay strategic, and keep building. Do not feed the distractions. Do not give energy to these haters. And do not let any of these motherfuckers pull you out of position. Success is vital right now. Unity is vital right now. Discipline is vital right now. Again, keep your heads lifted. Stay vigilant. Stay conscious. Stay woke. And most importantly, let's continue to help one another build. This is Chief Steve signing off. Tata Chista, I cherish you all. Yoko Ki. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.